So, can you once again introduce yourselves? Like we'll start at the end with Mark, and just tell us your name, what year you graduated, and what your major was.
Sure. I'm Mark Nguyen. I graduated in '94 with the BA, and I also came back for an MBA later on. And my major was poli-sci history, and then I did international business marketing.
I'm Helen Cheng. I graduated in 2008, and my major was international development studies, which I'm not sure exists anymore. Does it?
Hi everyone, my name is JonJon. I graduated 2013 with a anthropology degree and a minor in education studies.
Cool. Okay, so did any of you guys hold leadership positions when you were in Circle K? We'll begin at this end with JonJon.
Oh. I actually was a spirit chair at Orange Coast College. The next year I became president, and then I transferred to UCLA where I was district awards chair, and then I became Metro Lieutenant Governor, and then I graduated.
So first year I was club public relations chair, and then my second year I was district publications editor, and my third year I was district treasurer, and then my fourth year I went and studied abroad. Sorry.
So my first year I was president because we revived the club because I came in with some friends from Key Club. And then the second year I was Cal Nepal governor. And then the third, fourth year I caught up and actually studied.
Okay, so what are you currently doing career-wise, Mark?
So some of you I've met before because I run a company on the side called Planet LA Records, and we do a Grammy party every year. But sadly this year our partners at Whole Foods decided not to do it this year, so we're a bit bummed about that. So I do that on the side, and I also do marketing for a global sourcing company. We work with a lot of airlines and hotels.
I work at a nonprofit. It's in animal welfare, and I basically help pets that get lost get reunited with their families by providing a free registration service for their microchips. And I work with an awesome team, and it's really cool because I love animals.
I currently work for UCLA Residential Life. I'm a resident coordinator, also known as an assistant resident director for the Hedrick Summit building. So if you live in Hedrick Summit, stop on by my office. But I also own a mobile laser tag company, so that's pretty interesting now.
So you're actually working with us for Laser Wars next month, right?
Yes, I'm actually going to be facilitating the laser tag component of the fundraiser coming up with you all.
So what were some skills that you developed in Circle K, and how have they helped you after college? Start with back at Mark.
Sure. I guess just leadership skills in general, organizing events, which I still do to this day, producing things, working in teams. Those are all really good skills I can trace back to Circle K, kind of running club meetings, and then later being in the district and doing like district convention or international convention. And then just like people skills. I work with all types of personalities. So I think kind of tracing back to being a freshman at UCLA Circle K, that definitely helped beyond later on.
So that's basically what I was going to say, but what I'll add on to that is that you don't actually have to hold a position in this club or in any club to be a leader and to hone those skills. Any member can chair a project, so if you're interested in doing that, just at least it's you can try it without committing yourself to the whole year, and just take any opportunity you can.
I definitely will say for me, being able to public speak. When I was in high school, I had a real hard time standing in front of a crowd and actually getting my point across to folks. But being in Circle K gave me the chance to really open up how I felt about certain things and being able to express it in a way where it was relatable and understood by many. And I have to honestly say the other skill I've learned was love. I've had ups and downs with people on a personal level, but also on like a communal and family level. I've been able to learn how to love people and cherish them, and just be able to see empathy in understanding that everyone comes from different places. So these are really important skills that I feel are necessary to live a full and meaningful life, and I really thank Circle K for that.
So back to careers. When you were in college, did you see yourself doing what you're doing now? Or was it something that came along, or like were you looking for this? When we get down with Mark.
I guess I didn't know till later on, probably my junior year. I knew I wanted to do something international and global, which I ended up doing for over 10 years. I ended up doing a degree in international affairs back in Boston, and did that and lived overseas. But definitely while I was at UCLA, I definitely had a feeling I was going to do that because and Circle K was part of that, going to international convention, meeting lots of types of people from around the world and seeing what they do overseas. And then I did an internship at the State Department, which kind of persuaded me that this is what I wanted to do. And then later on I came back to do an MBA because I felt I was still missing something. So I highly encourage you to always kind of look at kind of pursuing your education wherever you are in life, because it's a great way to kind of be in touch again. And then actually this year I'm starting to teach at Cal State Fullerton for anyone in Orange County. So that'll be nice to kind of take that knowledge and actually teach and kind of pass that on.
So again, I work in animal welfare, and actually what I learned from my time at Circle K was that I really like working with animals. It was the service projects where we went and walked some dogs, or I guess that's really the only project, but even when I was studying abroad, I was volunteering with animals because I realized that's something I really, really enjoy. After college, I didn't go right into it because I was volunteering for all these organizations that were basically run on donations and almost 100% volunteer run. So I didn't realize that you could actually have a career in animal welfare. I just thought it was, all unpaid work. So I just started searching for it at one point when I realized I was still volunteering, in on my weekends, outside of work. And one day I came across some Craigslist postings of rescue jobs, and I was like, oh, I can actually do this. So, kind of cool.
I gotta be honest and say that Circle K really got me to where I am today, just because it put me out of my comfort zone. I never expected to ever be a president of a club, let alone even become an LTG. I actually stumbled into the club by accident by speaking Thai to some random dude who I thought was Thai. And he was like, I was like, "Hey, can you guys watch my?" He's like, "What the hell is that?" And then I find out he's like, "Well, you know what?" And he looked at me. He's like, "Well, I remember you from Honors Art. Do you want to join my club?" And I was like, "What club are you in?" "Oh, it's this club called Circle K." And I was like a gas station? He's like, "No, not like a gas station." And then, he got me into it, and I just felt so deeply in love with it. And the skills that I managed to get out of it, I was able to just put it into my everyday life. And, as I was in Circle K, I kept making a checkoff list, kind of like a bucket list. And I told myself one day I want to be an assistant resident director. I don't care how long it's going to take, I just want to be able to check that box off. One day I want to be a resident assistant. I'm going to check that box off. And eventually, one day I want to do something so weird on campus, like own a laser tag company. And I did it. So, did it get me to where I am today? Yeah, definitely. I mean, I love my job at Res Life, and I get to work with wonderful RAs. We have a bunch of RAs and HGRs in the room, and potential RAs. So yeah, it really did get me there.
Cool. So what were some of your favorite service projects when you were in Circle K? Go back down.
Sure, I see you guys are still doing it, the beach cleanup, so it's always fun. And it's
26 years later.
Yeah, beaches are still dirty, and you still find the same things that you do today. But it was great to see the variety of projects you have going on, service projects, fellowship, fun projects, and so it was. We started doing some of those things then, but to see it grow, after 20 years, it's been fantastic. So And that's, I remember that about Circle K is you could really, any member can just run with an idea and say, you know, I love animals, or I like helping the elderly, or homeless shelters, or the environment. And you can just run with that idea and then get people in this club or other clubs to support it. So that's the great thing about, which I see to this day, is there's lots of options to be involved.
Yeah, it's really cool. That's probably one of the biggest benefits of Circle K, is that it's different from other clubs that are focused on one cause. Is when you're in this club, you can really do everything. You know, sign up for any kind of service project you're interested in, which means you get to work with a bunch of different organizations. And I mean, that kind of experience is invaluable. So other than the animal-related projects, I also love the ones where we went and cooked and fed people. You know, I'm Asian. You guys get it.
One of my most memorable one was, I don't know if you all still do it, but volunteering at Alexandria House, right? And I remember one time, I just bought, again, it was on my checkoff list, I wanted to own a Mighty Morphin Power Ranger costume. So I literally bought like a replica White Ranger outfit. And I remember, I think a few, like, I don't know if a few folks up there were telling me, but they're like, John, you totally wear your outfit and like hang out with the kids, because they've always wanted to see a Power Ranger. And I remember going out there wearing my costume, and the most memorable comment I ever got was from like this little 4-year-old girl. And she's like, "You're not the real White Ranger." And then like, I couldn't talk in the mask, so I told like Alice, she's like another Circle K member, I was like, "Hey, ask her why." And then she goes, "Why, little girl?" And she goes, "Because you're too skinny." So I was like, I see you. I see you. So that was really memorable. But just being able to volunteer with the kids was really fun.
So the club now has, what, a little over 200 members? All right. So what was the club situation when you were in Circle K? Like, how big was the club? Like, how big was
I
the
remember we were really just kind of restarting it, because the club was kind of dead for a while. Back then, clubs were not as big as they are now. Now people are a lot more active. Social media, it's a lot easier to organize people. Back then we didn't really use cell phones that much. It was just hard to get people together. So the biggest we got was like 40, 50 people, which was actually the second biggest club in the district. And Irvine was like maybe 80 people. We're like, wow, you're so big. No one would have thought clubs would hit 100. And so for us, like 20, 30 people doing stuff on a regular basis was a very active club.
But when you were, your first year, when the club reactivated, all of your elected officers were freshmen, right?
Yeah, pretty much. It's myself and my college roommate, who later became lieutenant governor and governor. It was funny because at one point, the three of us, we were all in leadership in Circle K, and one after the other, we were governor. So it was very a lot of nepotism going on, because it was a much smaller organization back then. So you had a lot of core of dedicated people. So you could be a president as a freshman or sophomore. So it was, but I could see how the clubs have grown, and I'm sure a lot of people have gone on to different leadership positions in the district here too.
So I think when I was in the club, it was approaching 100 members, and probably broke 100 by the time I left. So it was fairly strong. Definitely not as crazy as it is now, but even at 100, the club felt a little bit big sometimes, and I'm sure some of you feel that way too. Like, you can feel lost among the crowd. So I really encourage you to join a family or use the new buddy system that you guys have. That just makes everything a little bit smaller and easier to find new friends and join a smaller community that is in this giant club.
Helen was actually in the club when I first became faculty advisor.
Well, UCLA was flipping huge, and it still is. Look at this, it's huge. I'm gonna quickly check in with some of my colleagues over there. Do y'all remember how big it was? I mean, it was huge. Well, yeah, Beacon, anything?
Yeah, I don't want to remember.
Yeah, okay. Well, it was really big, and it's still big. I was privileged enough though to see a club actually start from from 8 members to then 15 members, and then jumped to 70 members when I was in Orange Coast College. I saw a growth there, but here it's just been gradually getting bigger, and now obviously it's huge. So I think we had around I'd say almost 200 paid members at one point.
235.
235. There we go. We're the biggest in Cal-Nav-Ha.
Cool. So, do you still keep in touch with friends you made during your Circle K years? JonJon?
No.
No.
Yeah, oh, yeah, totally. Over there, Roel and Beacon and, I can't even name all you. But, yeah, like, I do still hang out, and I try to, like, lure them in by providing swipes, you know, so try to bring them in that way. But yeah, I do still hang out with them. And one of my good friends who was in Circle K is getting married soon. So I'm actually going to be a best man for his wedding. Well, no, not best man, sorry. I got excited too. Groomsman. I'm going to be a groomsman.
Well, similarly, I'm going to be a bridesmaid for a friend that I met through Circle K, so that's kind of cool.
Bachelor parties.
Yeah, I think your friendships from Circle K really do last. The ones that, the ones that are meant to be. You're going to meet so many people in this organization, and you're going to end up with a small group that you keep in touch with for many, many years to come, but those are the friendships that matter. So, yeah, definitely still do. There's a couple over there I hang out with pretty regularly. And also Rich does these every sporadic dim sum alumni lunches, which are cool. So that brings people together, and then you get to meet other alumni you have gone to school with.
Yeah, sort of. There's a lot of weddings and romances that happen. I'm sure some of you have experienced this out there. But my 2 roommates, one of them married another lieutenant governor, so I was a groomsman, and they got married in Hawaii, so we're still in touch. And then my other roommate who was governor, he married his lieutenant governor. There's a lot of that can be happening, inter-board marriages and romances. But yeah, so I still see them, and now with social media and like WhatsApp, it's so much easier to keep in touch. Like from my MBA class, they're all on WhatsApp, so sometimes my phone just explodes because 50 people are talking about birthdays or babies or whatever. So you do like get really close to some of the people you do service projects with or meet as part of your experience. So those relationships will carry on, some for the rest of your life.
So, do you have any advice for current Circle Kers? We can go with Mark.
Advice? I guess if I was looking back in my experience, you just try to have a nice balance, because you are at one of the top universities in the country, if not the world. So there's studies, there's your social time, your volunteer time. So it's good to have that balance in your life, because I'm sure some of you are taking incredibly hard courses and biochem and all that fun stuff. And it's hard to get out of your books and study groups. But this sort of helps you build other skills that are very useful, even if you're in a lab or a hospital or a business setting later on, because you're going to have to deal with people, teams, and you're going to have a good sense of well-rounded skills or leadership skills. Like later in business school, a lot of my peers, they were doctors or lawyers or from all walks of life, but we sort of still came together because everyone still needed extra training to do things as groups. So Circle K actually helps you do that, because you're doing service projects, you're putting together things. So I guess that's the advice I have is, you may not know it, but you are building really valuable sort of life management, people skills that carry on in your work later on. Because it's not just about studying, but don't neglect that either. So, because I remember my second year, I kind of neglected it because I was so busy as governor that I had to focus almost all on studying my 3rd and 4th years to make sure I graduated. So don't get too carried away either. But it's all a balance, and Circle K will help you do that. So that's the advice I have.
I'd say to push yourself out of your comfort zone, because it's really when you're uncomfortable that you learn a lot about yourself, and that's how you grow. And I think one of the most important keys to happiness is growth through change. So don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Don't be afraid to bring up ideas that you think may be silly or people may not like, but like there's nothing better than coming up with an idea and having other people embrace it, because then you can actually leave something of yourself behind. And even outside of Circle K, because when I was in Circle K, there were a lot of people who just had Circle K be their entire life, and I know some of you are guilty of that in this room. And Circle K is amazing, I will say that, but it's the experiences you have outside of this club too. Don't make this your entire world. And that's really why I studied abroad my 4th year, because I had to make that decision of, am I gonna go out and have like a huge, amazing life experience, or just keep doing the same thing I've been doing for 3 years. So take advantage of other opportunities.
My years going through Circle K and through the Kiwanis family, I remember just 3 letters. Love, appreciate, and remember. Love, because you definitely have to love each other and love everyone for what they're doing and why they're here. Especially with different clubs all around Kalamazoo, you're all working towards the same thing, so you might as well just love each other on that one. Appreciate, because how often do you get wonderful faculty like Rich, or all those wonderful alumni who have been through thick and thin with you, to really stand by you and teach you what it means to be a better person, not only within yourself but with other people. And to also remember, you're all UCLA Bruins. You worked your little behinds off to get to where you're at. That holds a lot of status and a lot of value in the real world. And for you to be able to walk out there and proclaim that you're Bruins, that means so much more than anything other than being a UCLA Circle K'er. So just remember who you are and what you stand for. And every day it's going to be a breeze. So, yeah.
Does anyone else have any questions for our panel? Anyone? Raise your hand. Nobody? Okay, well, thank you for coming and talking with us tonight.
Thank you, Rich and our alumni. Hopefully they'll stay after the meeting for a bit so you can talk to both the panelists and some alumni in the back, or